Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name's Ron Tyler. Welcome to our program today. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We have a lot of things I need to discuss with you. I would ask your indulgence on letting us present the program to you. And I would ask also that you give me the opportunity to answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to put this out for you in kind of a succinct order. I want everybody to understand where we're coming from and why we're here. Okay? First off, I want to tell you this, that on Saturday night, Sunday morning, the United States attacked Iran. The United States and Israel attacked Iran. This is the presidential news conference immediately after the attack. This is President Trump coming to the podium.
Natanz and Isfahan. How? It looks like President Trump, Vice President Vance, and others. It looks like Secretary Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio here. Let's listen to the president after the strikes on Iran.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East, God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Immediately after this presentation was given, Vice President J.D. Vance also issued a similar statement. J.D. Vance echoed what President Trump said. I want to make sure everyone realizes that. J.D. Vance is the same voice as President Trump. I want to make sure everybody understands that. J.D. Vance said this: the United States is not at war with Iran. We are at war with Iran's nuclear program. On Saturday night, Sunday morning, President Trump made a statement. I just played that statement to you, for you. President Trump said that they dropped bombs on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, the first time the U.S. has directly attacked Iran. I want to make that point perfectly clear. I'm going to play now the video of J.D. Vance after this was made. Stand by just a second.
At war with Iran, we're at war with Iran's nuclear program. And let me just say, Kristen, that we're incredibly grateful and proud of the American Air Force pilots who did an incredible job last night. The operation was really extraordinary. These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine, and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping other than to briefly refuel. And of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation, a testament to the power of American military. And I think what shows what can happen when you have that great American military in the hands of capable presidential leadership. What we did is we destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. I think we set that program back substantially, and we did it without endangering the lives of the American pilots. That's an incredible thing, and I think we all should be proud. Whatever our politics, we should be proud of what these guys accomplished. A very, very high-impact mission under a lot of pressure.
And joining me now is Vice President J.D. Vance. Vice President Vance, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you, Kristen. Great to be with you.
Thank you for being here on a monumental Sunday. My first question, Mr. Vice President, is the United States now at war with Iran?
No, Kristen, we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program.
We are at war with Iran's nuclear program. We are not at war with Iran. I want to make that point perfectly clear. We are not at war with Iran, but Iran is at war with the United States. Iran has, like President Trump and J.D. Vance said, they've called death to Israel and death to the United States of America. We are not going to tolerate that. We're not even going to condone that at all. Not now, not ever. I want to make that clear. The United States is not at war with Iran. We're at war with its nuclear capabilities. We're at war with actually the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah is the one who started this, and he's continuing it. Today, Iran attacked Qatar. Let me play this short video for you right now. Before this, let me show you this. Qatari defenses 9 out of 10 Iranian missiles were intercepted over the United States Al Udeid base. The United States had an air base over in Qatar. Qatar's Ministry of Defense confirmed that air defenses intercepted 9 out of the 10 Iranian missiles fired at the Al Udeid air base. That air base hosts the United States forces and was the focal point of the missiles. That is why that Iran attacked Qatar. Iran also said that it was only attacking the United States base. Iran said it launched as many missiles as the U.S. launched at Iran, but Iran didn't count very well. Iran was actually attacked by 14 30-ton bombs. 14 30-ton bombs were dropped on Iran Saturday night, Sunday morning. Why was that? Because we wanted to make sure that we penetrated through the huge mountain. 8 stories deep. 8 stories deep. We went deep into that mountain and blew the crap out of it. We blew the crap out of it. And President Trump said he'd do it again. Let me show you what happened today in Qatar. I want to make sure everybody understands what's going on here. Watch the missiles fly into Qatar. Notice that missile was intercepted? That missile was just intercepted? This missile was intercepted. This one was also intercepted. That one was, those two were just intercepted. Look at this. Missiles that were going to get into the airbase. Watch this. The United States Iron Dome missiles took down those warheads. Only one missile made it through the Iron Dome. It appears to me that there were a lot more than 10 missiles that Iran attacked Qatar with. Just right here, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 missiles there. We've already had several other missiles, as you saw there. Let's watch this. No more missiles were launched at Qatar, but those 11. Only 11 missiles were launched. Iran said 10. We knocked out 9 out of 10. We knocked down 9 out of 10 missiles that were launched at Qatar. Qatar is a neighboring nation just 100 miles away from Iran. That's why I believe that Iran chose this location, only 100 miles away. Saudi Arabia is also on alert. And other nations over there in the Middle East are also on alert. They deserve to be on alert. If you were living in the Middle East, would you be on alert? I certainly would be. But the United States attacked Iran at the nuclear missile facilities. The United States did not attack Tehran personally. They did not go after civilians. They went after the nuclear facilities. Fordo, like we talked about the other day, we went after Natanz, and we went after Isfahan, as President Trump said. We totally destroyed those facilities. We rendered them useless. We completely rendered them useless, totally useless. Okay? This is Natanz before. This is the Natanz nuclear facility before. This is Natanz immediately afterwards. We rendered it completely useless. It also needs to be said, it wasn't just our B-2 bombers that went in there and did the work. Before our bombers even reached the facility, United States guided missile destroyers went and fired 11 missiles at Iran. 11 guided missiles into Iran. Each of our missiles hit their point. Each of our missiles hit their point. We didn't attack the civilian people, but we attacked the nuclear facilities. Okay? That's what happens. Right before Qatar was attacked, Qatar evacuated citizens close to the airbase. Qatar closed the airbase. The military personnel, 9,000 military personnel that the United States had there, 9,000 airmen were also evacuated. So none of our airmen were physically harmed either. And the citizens of Qatar evacuated anything around the airbase. Okay? So nobody's hurt. Nobody's hurt at all. Iran wants to make it seem like we're attacking Iran. We're not. We're absolutely not. But we want our people to be free. We want Israel to be free. Israel is an ally of the United States. Iran has always been saying death to Israel and death to the United States of America. Now, that doesn't mean nothing's going to happen yet. Israel has said that they're going to come after the United States, that they're going to make an example of the United States. I want to make it very clear. We already have received target lists about anyone that wants to attack Iran, or I should say attack the United States. I want to make it very clear. We're making sure that our cities are protected. President Trump has even said that. President Trump said he's not going to let it happen at all. At all. Just a second here. Right now, we are expecting to be attacked on the East Coast. Charlotte, North Carolina is one of the attack points. Charlotte, North Carolina is one of the attack points. And I'm sure every U.S. military base is on their planning docket. Yes, Iran has the capability through the United States, or not the United States, through Russia, through the USSR. Iran has the capability. They have the supersonic weapons that Russia gave them. Now, are we going to let that happen? No. We don't believe it's going to happen. We don't believe it's going to happen. But Iran has threatened the United States. Iran has threatened the United States. Iran launched missiles against the Al Udeid air base in Qatar today. In addition to U.S. air bases in the region, Other potential moves by Tehran could include attacking U.S. military assets across the Middle East and closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is a choke point for 20% of the world's oil. 20% of the world's oil. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. Why do I say that? Because Iran is selling oil to China. Iran is also selling oil to Russia. So I don't believe Iran is going to close the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran has also said it will attack U.S. military assets. The U.S. military operates 8 military bases in as many countries across the Middle East: Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Kuwait, Egypt, and Iraq, with nearly a dozen more military facilities across the region, according to the Council on Foreign Relations. Now, the CFR I don't trust. I want to make that point perfectly clear. I do not trust the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, at all. I have my reasons. And if you guys want to get me into that, I will do that on another occasion, but not tonight. But this is what is going on. Chief among the places that Iran wants to attack is in Qatar, with up to 9,000 to 10,000 service personnel there. West of there, Bahrain. Bahrain is home to U.S. naval base called Naval Support Facility Bahrain, with an estimated 9,000 troops there. An estimated 40,000 to 50,000 U.S. service members are stationed across the region. There's a range of options in Iran's own target deck. Middle East security expert Bursu Osilik at the UK's Royal United Services Institute said, unlike Iran targeting of Israel, which is far more difficult geographically due to the distance. Iran's stockpile or arsenal of short-range ballistic missiles makes American installations in the Gulf more vulnerable. However, Iraq, which shares a nearly 1,000-mile porous border with Iran to the east, it tends to be seen as the next potential frontier where the conflict could escalate with Iran because of a number of Iranian-linked Shia paramilitary groups that may act independently from the Iranian government itself. Such groups have in the past attacked the U.S. Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq and the U.S. military and the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. U.S. naval assets, which also include aircraft carriers and their accompanying destroyers, along with various amphibious and other support ships, are also potential targets. We talked to you about the USS Eisenhower, which was in the Gulf there and also moved over into the Eastern Mediterranean. Also, the USS Nimitz was steaming into the area as well and is on station as we speak. The USS Carl Vinson, an aircraft carrier strike group, is currently deployed in the Arabian Sea, while President Trump redirected the U.S. Nimitz aircraft carrier to the Middle East from the South China Sea. The USS Gerald R. Ford is also there. USS guided missile destroyers are patrolling the Red Sea, the Gulf, and the Eastern Mediterranean. These dozens of ships provide possible targets for various forms of Iran possible strikes. Again, I don't believe it's going to happen. But it could. I'm just giving you all a heads up. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to give you a heads up. These dozens of possible targets are various forms of Iranian attacks, including heavy armored speedboats, short-range ballistic missiles, surface-to-air missiles. Those all could target American vessels or American allied vessels, including vessels from Britain. And similar to what the Houthis have been exercising in the Red Sea. Remember the Houthis? They overestimated the U.S. capabilities, and the United States attacked them. The United States shut down the Houthis. Now the Houthis are saying they're going to attack the United States of America. Really? Really? I don't think that's going to happen. The United States military shut down the Houthis once, and they'll shut those people down again, and again, and again. U.S. military assets aside, Iran could cause global economic and energy pain by attempting to choke off passage through the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20 to 25% of the world's oil passes, along with a similar percentage of liquefied natural gas. That crucial waterway connects oil-rich Persian Gulf nations to the Gulf of Oman and then the world. At its narrowest point, it stretches just 21 miles across, with Iran to the north and Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south. Iran's military could lay thousands of mines to destroy ships trying to pass through the strait. But again, Iran wants the money. Iran wants to sell oil. Iran wants everybody to believe that they're a good bunch of people. I don't think they're going to mine the Strait of Hormuz. They could, but again, Iran is no match for the United States military. They once closed down the Strait of Hormuz, and we opened it up again. The United States military has mine destroyers. Mine destroyers. They go in there and they have people and machinery to rid the mines, to destroy the mines. Iran's Navy could lay thousands of mines to damage ships trying to pass through. But this would symbolize a desperate act of last resort, which would mean Iran is reeling out of control and spiraling out. We can consider this as one of those suicide mission tactics that Iran is famous for. They love suicide missions. If Iran were to go to that far, retaliatory implications would be very costly and also would counter Iran's own interests with respect to its oil export capabilities, as well as its own relationships with people in the Gulf area and around the world. Its oil trade relationship with China and also Russia. I don't think it's going to happen. It could, but I don't think it's going to happen. Let me put up a map here. Let me put up this map so you better understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me enlarge this a little bit so you understand where the Strait of Hormuz is and what exactly is going on here. Okay? You see where the Strait of Hormuz is? The distance between Yemen and Saudi Arabia to the south. Yemen to the north and Saudi Arabia to the south, 21 miles. If U.S. freighters or U.S. military or oil ships here pass through that area every day, if Iran laid mines here in the Strait of Hormuz, they would cut off their nose to spite their face. They would totally cut off their nose to spite their face. I just don't believe they're going to do it. Yes, it is possible. Okay? U.S. Secretary Marco Rubio said on Monday that they called on Beijing to help prevent Iran from closing the strait. Yesterday, Iran's state-run press TV reported that Iran's parliament, the Majlis, approved a plan to close the Strait of Hormuz, but added that the final decision would be with the Supreme National Security Council. Oil analysts predict prices could jump 50 to 60% if the Strait of Hormuz closed. 1 barrel of oil is currently trading at $70 per barrel. Prior to this even happening, it was at $50 a barrel. It's jumped up to $70 a barrel, and in fact, Gas prices where we live in North Carolina have jumped from $2.48 a gallon, actually $2.46 a gallon, all the way up to $2.78 a gallon. A 32-cent per gallon jump. If Iran were to close the Strait of Hormuz, the price per barrel, would jump to $120 per barrel. Almost twice what it is now. Whether the Organization of Petroleum Export Countries, OPEC, releases more oil to compensate would determine the length of any possible price shock. Even if it's for a short term, and the Strait of Hormuz is subsequently reopened, or Iran doesn't maintain that level of threat for a prolonged amount of time, Iran will still suffer the consequences of that potentially, both in terms of its status and its reliability with the Gulf, as well as the oil infrastructure in the region. That has implications for Iran's own sanction-busting oil trade. That's why I'm saying I don't think they're going to do it. Now, terrorist and cyber attacks. I need to address this as well. The real long-term protracted threat lies in the asymmetric war space, the asymmetric warfare space, and potentially state-sponsored terrorism. As you know, the previous administration let our border be open for 4 years. And everybody and their dog came across. I could show you video after video that I've seen showing identification cards, driver's licenses from other countries, and even passports that were left at the U.S.-Mexican border. I have law enforcement friends that have collected these documents off the border. Why did they drop the documents? Because they wanted to come into the United States with a different opportunity, a different name, a different chance to start over. But did they really start over? Because we've already seen people be arrested for terrorism. We've already seen people being murdered in our own country by illegal aliens. Okay? Yesterday, again, the United States National Terrorism Advisory System warned of a heightened threat environment in this country. The bulletin did not cite any specific threats, but said, quote, low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks by pro-Iranian hacktivists are likely. I said hacktivists, hackers, and cyber actors affiliated with the Iranian government. They may conduct attacks against U.S. networks. That warning came after pro-hacktivist group known as 313 Team claimed credit for a short-lived outage of President Trump's Truth Social messaging platform on Saturday. At about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, users who attempted to log in received an error message that said, network failed, please try again. The platform is backed up and still running today. Around the world, Iran has been implicated in attempted terrorist attacks, most recently in London in May. British authorities arrested several Iranians they alleged were planning a terror plot attacking the Israeli embassy. In 2023, just 2 years ago, also in London, an Iranian plot to kill 2 Iranian news anchors critical of the regime was also foiled. Other terror plots have been stopped in Cyprus, Germany, Turkey, and the United States, Denmark, Belgium, France, and even within the past decade. It's been going on. Any retaliatory action by Iran, whether it's direct attacks on U.S. assets or closing the strait, would invite a response from the United States, and the Trump administration has also warned, which could put the Iranian government's survival at risk. If they try to attack in any way, shape, or form, a direct attack, on U.S. assets or closing the strait. That would invite a direct response from the U.S. and the Trump administration, and he's warned about it. That would put the Iranian government's survival at risk. President Trump, after announcing the attack Sunday morning, warned that he warned Iran against any retaliation, saying there will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the past 8 days. I want to make it clear. President Trump has spoken. President Trump will not allow this to happen any longer. Now, I do not know what President Trump is up to right now. I don't know what President Trump is up to right now. It's been said that President Trump was headed to the security room. He may already be there. 2 hours ago, I heard he was headed over to the security room for a briefing with the generals and the intelligence personnel. If he's there, President Trump will possibly even retaliate against what happened in Qatar. Again, I want to state this. Iran said 10 missiles were sent to Qatar. I saw 11 as I counted them incoming into Qatar, and only one made it to the ground because the Iron Dome prevented it. Okay? Does anybody have any questions for me? Judy Olson says she completely supports President Trump. I agree as well. I'm completely in support of President Trump. I want to make that emphatically clear. I'm in support of President Trump. I'm in support of Vice President Vance. I'm in support of Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I'm also in support of Pete Hegseth, U.S. Secretary of Defense. They have my 100% blessing. I will support them from heck to breakfast, always, always and forever. They've proven to me that they have our interest here in the U.S. and other countries as their top priority. They want peace in the region. They want peace in the world. President Trump has tried to promote peace between Russia and Ukraine. They both keep violating that. It's probably going to be between Ukraine and Russia at the end. But we're praying for that to end as well. Soup is here in the chat saying Iran says they want to negotiate and Trump said he wants peace. Iran went to the negotiation table Friday morning. Friday afternoon, Iran walked away from the negotiating table. Nothing was negotiated. Hardly anything ever came up. That's because Iran wants its own way. Iran doesn't want to abide by law. Iran wants only what they want. That's why President Trump ordered the attacks against the 3 Iranian nuclear fields. And preliminary bomb damage assessment, what is called BDA. And I showed you that. I showed you what happened. And it will happen again. This is the BDA assessment at Isfahan. Destroyed. Destroyed. Their capabilities have been destroyed. Overtodro, destroyed. Nanance, destroyed. Not one aircraft from Iran made it off the field. Not one aircraft made it from Iran off the field. None. Not one missile was launched against the U.S. or Israel. Not one. Not one of our missiles was caught by Iran. The United States and Israel had 100% air availability over Iran. Nothing happened to us. Nothing happened to Israel. But Israel's still attacking, Iran is still attacking Israel as we speak. Soup says Iran still wants to negotiate. I believe it when I see it. I'll believe that when I see it. Whenever I've seen Iran do anything, and they say they want to negotiate, rarely do they ever come to truth with it. Rarely, if ever, do they ever come to truth with it. They want it their way or the highway. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I want to thank Demon Catman for putting up information about the EMA program here. Guys, we have 3 different sites where you can help support this program. We have 2 PayPal locations, and we have a Venmo location that are scrolling across the bottom of your screen. You'll also see our EMA address here, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina, zip code here is 28655. We greatly appreciate your support and your caring. Now, on Saturday, Carol and I received a card from the Ortegas. Carol and I received a card from the Ortegas here. They're from Portland, Oregon. A beautiful card. They also send a donation with it. We appreciate that. We want you to know that. Dear Carol and Ron, thank you for all you do in helping us be prepared for emergencies. God bless you. Much love, Vicki. I thank our Heavenly Father that He hears our prayers. A beautiful card. We want to thank the Ortegas for that. The Ortegas are very dear friends of ours. They've been dear friends of ours for probably 5 of the past 6 years that we've been on the air. We appreciate all that you do, guys. We appreciate all that you do. Let me take this hair up. I don't need it. But we appreciate all that you do, and we'd appreciate your continued support of this program. Bills are getting more expensive. We just received another bill today in the mail. Things are getting more and more expensive. I don't know what the outcome is going to be yet of our internet bill. I believe it's also going up. Our rent went up here $100 a month. Yeah, $100 a month. Incredible. We had the internet go up about 2 years ago, so I expect another internet increase. It takes a gig of bandwidth to be able to do this program. So I fully expect that to also go up. Any support that you can give us, we appreciate it greatly. Okay? I want you to know that. It will mean a great deal to us. We appreciate what you do when it comes in terms of super chats as well. We really do. We had several of you that have given us super chats that were very much appreciated. Anything that you can do to help support us, we appreciate more than anything. Now, Sweet Polly Purebred just gave us another $20 super chat. Thank you, Polly. Appreciate that so much. God bless you. Polly says I'm amazing. No, Carol is amazing. I'm just the other side of it. Carol's amazing. I'm just the other side of it. But Polly, thank you so much. God bless you for that. Now, guys, I have some other things I want to talk with you about tonight. I first want to make sure that we answer any questions about anything we've so far talked about. I fully expect something else to happen tonight in terms of Iran. Okay? President Trump went to the security briefing for a reason. Okay? Iran attacked the U.S. air base in Qatar. President Trump warned them if Iran did anything else, they would suffer the consequences. Actions have consequences. Actions have consequences. So I fully expect something else to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll be surprised. Do any of you have any questions for us? We have 66 people watching this channel. So far we've had, let me check on this just a second here. We have 45 thumbs up. Folks, if you would like to and you enjoy what we're doing here, please give us a thumbs up before you leave. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay? 45 thumbs up, 65 people still watching. Supposedly 65 people still watching. YouTube continues to suppress our numbers. YouTube has unsubscribed 20 people during the last week. Yes, YouTube has unsubscribed 20 people in the last week. So please, everyone, make sure you're still subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Make sure you're still subscribed, and if you aren't, please resubscribe when you do that. Right next to the subscription button, there's a little bell icon. Click on that little bell icon. The little bell icon will drop down a 3-item menu. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on there, but be advised, YouTube does not normally just notify people. They don't do it. YouTube doesn't like me. They don't like this channel. They don't like what we talk about because we tell the truth. I don't mince words. I do not mince words at all. Okay? Most of you know that. Now, I want to say this also. We have quite a few of our mods here in the chat room. I love each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. You guys are not just my friends, you are my family. Many of you I've known over 6 years now. You're my brothers and sisters. I love each and every one of you. I love each and every member of our EMA family. I truly do. Smartass Patriot is here again. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your support also. Renee Steffi's here in our chat. She's also one of our mods here. Renee Steffi frequently puts up weather information in our chat. Whenever there is a storm watch or a storm warning, she's the first person to be here. The first person to make sure everybody's notified. We greatly appreciate that. If we issue a storm warning, it's because Renee Steffi put up the information. It's because she put up the information, her and Heather as well. Heather is one of our main weather people here. She's a weather analyst, basically. She's a weather analyst. She's very good. Heather is one of our sisters as well. Now, I'd be very remiss if I didn't mention Sleeping Volcano. Sleeping Volcano is in the hospital right now. I believe she underwent surgery earlier this morning. I've not heard her status as yet. We were praying for her. Last time we were on there, we told her thank you for your service, and we're praying for you. We're praying for your surgeons as well, Sleeping Volcano. God bless you. God bless you. Ruth St. John, also thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. We love you and appreciate you all very much. I can't overstate that. I cannot overstate that. You guys' caring, you guys' support of this channel is amazing. Jerry Hayes is here. Thank you for being here, Jerry. God bless you. All you guys, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Again, we thank Sleeping Volcano for what she's done for this channel. We appreciate her love and support of us as well. Again, she's been in the hospital since either last night or early this morning, and she had surgery today. We're praying for her and her surgeons. God bless you. God bless you. Anyway, let's go on. I have more information here for you. Now, typically on Mondays and Thursdays, we talk about the Pacific Northwest and what's going on. Folks, I'm going to go over to the USGS map. I want to show you what's actually happening. Okay? At least what the USPS would have us know, which is basically nothing. Basically nothing. They don't even report the largest earthquakes. How can we expect them to report anything that's going to be of cost to human life? I don't trust USPS any further than I can throw them at all. You guys have seen what they've done and not done. Over here in northern Japan, just south of Hokkaido, Japan, we have a 4.1 earthquake here on the south side of Hokkaido. It's out here in the ocean, just off the coast of Hokkaido. A 4.1 earthquake, moderate earthquake. The shock waves of this earthquake were absorbed by the waters of the Pacific Ocean. Further to the northeast here is a 4.8. This was also 85 kilometers east of Hokkaido. The waters of the Pacific Ocean also absorbed the shock waves of this quake. This was 34 kilometers deep. This was only 70 kilometers deep here. Still fairly shallow quakes. To the south over here in the island south of Japan, this is a large 5.0 large earthquake, 108 kilometers southwest of Tasuga, Japan. USBS has this at 108 kilometers northwest. It's southwest USBS. USGS cannot even get the directions correct at all. At all. There's a swarm of earthquakes here. I want to show you this. Okay, look at this. That's a 5.0. This is a 5.1. This is a 4.3. This is a 4.6. This is a 4.3 here. This is a 4.5. This, folks, is a 4.4. This is a 4.5. This is a 5.0. Every one of these earthquakes hit last night. Every one of these earthquakes hit last night except for one. Right here. Actually, no, it was right here. This hit at 24 minutes past midnight. 24 minutes past midnight last night. That was an aftershock of these other earthquakes. Aftershock of every one of these other earthquakes here. These earthquakes hit last night. Notice on this map where Tasuga, Japan is. Way south of where USGS says it is. Unreal. Unreal. Let's go over here to Taiwan. This is a 4.4 earthquake here. Let's show you where it's at. This is on land. This is southwest, 28 kilometers southwest of Hualien City. You can see where it's at. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake. People felt this. Moderate earthquakes usually have some stunning circumstances. Moderate earthquakes can cause some minor damage. They can cause some minor damage, like tipping books off of bookshelves, knocking knickknacks to the floor, rattling plates and glasses in a cupboard, or knocking a picture off a wall. That's all a moderate earthquake will do. And folks, this was a moderate 4.4, low on the moderate scale. Moderate goes from 4.0, 4.9. This is a 4.4 magnitude earthquake. Also only 23 kilometers deep, meaning it's a very shallow earthquake. It was felt by the people here. Okay? It was felt by the people here. Let's go further south here. I want to show you this. First, off the southeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines. This is a 4.7 earthquake. 4.7 earthquake, 66 kilometers deep. This, they say, is 34 kilometers east-southeast of Ponda Gaytan, Philippines. East-southeast of Ponda Gaytan, Philippines. Okay? off the coast. Nobody felt this earthquake either. This is a moderate quake. The ocean waters absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Let's open it up here. Going down here just south of Jakarta, south of Java, Indonesia. This again is a 4.7 earthquake in the Indian Ocean, south of Java here. 35 kilometers deep, the ocean waters here of the Indian Ocean absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. USBS is not showing us all the damage though. USGS is not showing us any earthquakes until we get out here in Papua New Guinea. They're not showing any of the 28 earthquakes here in Indonesia, but just one. USGS is failing to do its job. Now, I was asked by the Trump administration to offer my opinion of the agencies that should either be shut down or deeply investigated. I wrote back last Friday evening, that I would appreciate an investigation of the United States Geological Survey. I would like to see an investigation of the U.S. Geological Survey. They're not doing their job, as you can see. Let's go over here, east of Papua New Guinea. This is a 5.3 earthquake here. A 5.3 earthquake over here near Kimba, Papua New Guinea. 80 kilometers east-southeast of Kimba, Papua New Guinea. You can see where this is. Kimba's up to the northwest here. This is over here in the mountainous regions of Papua New Guinea. A 5.3 large earthquake. 5.3 earthquakes do damage, significant damage, especially to the people that live here. Anybody that lives here near this earthquake felt it. They felt it, and they had their property probably damaged. The people here in Papua New Guinea don't have much money, maybe $500 a year. Yes, you heard me right. They maybe make $500 a year. They're very poor people. Most of them live in mud shacks, cardboard shacks, or wood shacks. That's all they can afford. They live by what they grow off the land or what they catch in the streams and lakes in the area. A large 5.3 earthquake can devastate each and every citizen there in Papua New Guinea. We have another earthquake out here in the ocean of the Pacific. This is a large 5.0 earthquake here. This was not felt by the people on the island. However, look what this earthquake was. This earthquake was on the edge of the plate here. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. 7 different tectonic plates in this region. What happens? Each one of the 7 tectonic plates are subducting under the other plate. Let's put up the webcam and let me show you what I'm talking about when I talk about subduction. One plate going underneath the other plate just like this. Just like this. On Friday, if you heard Mark Wages on his program, he said that there was another 1.9 X class 1.9.2 solar flare. As I said before, the solar flares cause the plates and also the earthquake faults to move more freely. Why? Because this solar energy envelopes the planet. When it comes out from the sun, it envelopes the planet like this. The Earth-facing part of the planet gets first, and the rest of the planet gets it later, within about a matter of minutes. What happens? The radiation from the sun hits our magnetosphere, goes through the magnetosphere, which typically would shield the planet, but because it's in a weakened state, allows that radiation to go through the magnetosphere, through our atmosphere, heating the atmosphere up, and also heating the plates up as well. That radiation goes, that plasma radiation goes down to the surface of the Earth and through down to the center of the core. Heats everything up. Heats everything up. And as a result, all that gunk and grime, all that dirt, all that gravel, all that sand, all the biological material that holds these plates in place normally gets heated up by that plasma radiation and allows those plates and faults more freely move like this. That is when we have earthquakes. That's when we have earthquakes. And as you can see, we have plenty of large 5.0 earthquakes as well as others as well. Now, I fully expected 6s to 6.5. Fortunately, it's not happened, but it could. It could more freely happen. Notice over here in Myanmar, USBS is not talking about earthquakes here in Myanmar. Why? Because they don't want to. 22 earthquakes here in Myanmar. 22 earthquakes hit in Myanmar today. Some of those earthquakes also hit in Cambodia and Thailand and Vietnam as well. Folks, USGS does not talk about it. They don't want to talk about the damage as well. They are so darn wrong, it's not funny. They're wrong. One other earthquake just northeast of Hong Kong. This is northwest of Hong Kong, I'm sorry. This is a 4.0 moderate earthquake here. I believe the people in Hong Kong, China felt this earthquake. This was just a moderate quake. Just a moderate quake, not more than like 10 miles northwest of Hong Kong. They felt some shaking here. Moderate quakes do moderate damage, minor damage. Some people here in Hong Kong and the surrounding communities felt this earthquake. Another earthquake I want to talk to you about is up here in China. This is a 4.2 earthquake, also 10 kilometers deep. Moderate earthquake, doing moderate damage. We don't usually hear anything from China or Russia about these earthquakes. Rarely, if ever. This being a moderate quake, we'll probably never hear about it. Probably never ever hear about it. Let's go over here. Okay? See where Baghdad is? See where Iran is? Guess what? We're not seeing any earthquakes here, right? That earthquake, those bombs that hit Iran, they cause damage. They cause damage. Yet over here in Iran, you don't see anything, do you? They're still getting it. They're still getting it. Those weapons that the United States and Israel launched hit their targets and caused seismic irritation of the land here. And the land is still trying to recover. Yes, there are earthquakes here in Iran. Possibly even earthquakes here in Iraq as well. We have an earthquake just south of Cyprus here. It's not the only earthquake either. This is the 4.8 earthquake here from just south of Cyprus. Notice where this earthquake is. See the earthquake fault it's on? That earthquake fault goes up here through Turkey and Syria. The same earthquake fault that was responsible for a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake to hit this region February 3rd, 2 years ago. A 9.0, 10.0 earthquake hit here 2 years ago, causing devastating damage, killing over 5,000 people and injuring over 5,000 people more. Every time an earthquake hits this region, people panic. People panic because they think something else might be happening. It could very well happen. This area still receives 4.5 and 5.0 earthquakes on a regular basis. Not every day, but on a regular basis. 4.5 earthquakes do scare people. 5.0 large earthquakes, people go crazy. And 5.0 large earthquakes can do substantial damage, especially to people that live in this area. Okay? USPS should be ashamed of themselves for for not reporting these earthquakes. They should be ashamed of themselves. You're not seeing any earthquakes here in Turkey at all. There are earthquakes in northern Turkey, southern Turkey, eastern and western Turkey. A lot of them. Probably close to 30 earthquakes around Turkey. They're not reporting anything. There are earthquakes over here in the Aegean Sea as well. Right here in this area here. Why are we having earthquakes in the Volcanic Islands? The Volcanic Islands belong to Greece. We have magma down here beneath the surface. Magma pounding away at the bedrock, trying to make an eruption. Magma down in the crust of the earth beneath the Aegean Sea here, trying to make an eruption. Each one of these islands was made by volcanic action. All of these islands here were made by volcanoes. Any one of these islands can become a volcano again and could result in an eruption. It can result in an eruption. It could happen anytime soon. It can happen anytime soon. Down here, this island right here is very susceptible. Very, very susceptible to what's going on. Why? Again, because it was made by volcanic action. They evacuated this island early on, earlier this year, when we started seeing a lot of earthquakes around here. They thought that the volcano here was over here in the island, over here in the middle of the island in the water. The center of the volcano is down here in the harbor here. It could easily erupt. It could very easily erupt. I'm going to stop here or pause here for just a minute. I want to make this perfectly clear. The United States East Coast is under a very hot heat advisory. The heat advisory goes from today to at least the 25th or 26th. Okay? Today's the 23rd. This goes to, Renee has the 25th. My forecaster that I heard this morning say the 26th. Very hot temperatures. 95 degrees Fahrenheit. 95 degrees Fahrenheit, guys. That's what we're seeing here. Renee Sevi here in the report says the Piedmont and the foothills of northeastern Georgia, western North Carolina, and upstate North Carolina as well. Charlotte is under heat advisory. New York is under heat advisory. Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., under heat advisory. All of you need to be aware of it. If you live in these areas, make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. Make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. Carol and I are drinking lots of water. We have bottled water here. We don't drink tap water. We drink bottled water here. Does anybody have any questions about anything we've said so far? Anybody have any questions about anything we said so far? Renee Sevi has issued a flash flood warning issued by the Weather Service out of Albuquerque, New Mexico for Guadalupe, New Mexico. Why? Why do you think that's happened? As you see, USPS is not showing any earthquakes here in Europe at all. What a fallacy. There are over 800 earthquakes here in Europe. Over 800 earthquakes. USGS is so wrong. USGS says there's only 283 earthquakes worldwide. There were 500 earthquakes in Southern California. Just in the very southern part of Southern California. And I'm talking about Imperial Valley, Southern California. Los Angeles is another story. Over 400 earthquakes there that they're not talking about. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with them? Over here in the Mid-Atlantic, Earlier last week, I should say this week, but earlier last week, we had two 5.0s in the southern Mid-Atlantic. Right here is the central Mid-Atlantic. This is a moderate 4.7 earthquake here. I fully expected to see at least one other 4 here or possibly a large 5.0 or larger. That still remains to be seen. It could still happen. Notice here in South America, there are over 40 earthquakes here in southern South America. 40 earthquakes here in southern South America. What's going on with them? I shouldn't say southern South, but just South America. What's wrong with them? This earthquake is a 4.3. Earthquake here in northern Chile here is a 4.4. Going up here into Peru, this is a 4.7. Near Salvacion, Peru, 10 kilometers deep. Colombia, this is another 4.3, 10 kilometers deep. Up here in Rio Suicio, Colombia, here is a 4.4, 32 kilometers deep. There are a bunch of earthquakes here, guys. And USGS doesn't have the balls to talk about it. Excuse my French, guys. They can't talk about it. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. Nothing at all. Why are we having flood warnings in New Mexico? Flash flood warnings in Arizona? Flash flood warnings in Southern California? Why? Because, guys, we have some storms off the coast of Mexico. These storms crossed into northern Mexico, and they're providing plenty of humidity and weather here to the southern United States. Arizona, New Mexico, and Southern California have seen heavy storms. Flash flood warnings as well. This is probably going to go on until at least the end of July. These flash flood warnings and severe thunderstorms will probably be ongoing through July. The monsoon season. The monsoon season. Talking earthquakes. Let's talk some earthquakes in Southern California. Let's go down here. I've been waiting to show you this all day. This is Brawley, California. Yes, I've joked around a lot of times over the years about Brawley, California. Here in Brawley, we have a 1.2 tremor here. We have a 1.3 here. We have a 1.4 here. And further to the north, we have a 2.2. Brawley, California is here in the Imperial Valley. I'm surprised we're not seeing more earthquakes here coming from the USBS. The reason we're not seeing them is because USBS doesn't want to talk about it. There are close to 18 earthquakes here. I'm giving or taking a few since it's later on in the day here. 18 earthquakes here in Brawley. 18 earthquakes here in Brawley, both tremors and minor earthquakes. And yet USBS is not showing all the earthquakes. They never do. They never ever do. That's one of the reasons I have real issues with this agency. The U.S. agency never tells the truth. Rarely, if ever, they tell the truth at all. I want to go up here to Westmoreland. Here in Westmoreland, we have a seismograph. The seismograph tells us there are over 50 to 60 earthquakes here. Tremors, minor earthquakes, and small 3.0s. Westmoreland, California. That's not all, folks, there's more. Let's go down here to Imperial, the town of Imperial. We have another seismograph here. This seismograph is also reporting tremors, minor earthquakes, and several 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here. Why are they not showing it? They're one, either too darn stupid or they're plain dumb. They're plain dumb. Hopefully nobody will see it. One of our own EMA family members lives down here in El Centro. Good old El Centro. Here we're seeing 15 3.03.5 earthquakes. 15 3.03.5 earthquakes. And Juanito, our friend, our family member, he and his family and others feel these earthquakes every day. It's not just today, it's every day. Every day he gets hit with these earthquakes, day in, day out now. As I said, there are over 500 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley every day. Even more up here in Calipatria. Good old Calipatria here, just south of the Salton Sea, as is Westmoreland. Calipatria, guys, has 75 to 80 earthquakes here. 75 to 80 earthquakes here. They typically have anywhere from 75 to 150 earthquakes here every day without fail. They're just not reporting them. Let's just go up here, just off in the water here of the Salton Sea. Look at this, guys. We have a tremor here. This is actually 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake. This is the 1.5 tremor. This is a 1.0 tremor. This here is a 2.3 earthquake. And this is also another 2.0 earthquake. Can anybody tell me what happens when we see seismic energy line up like this? What happens when we see seismic energy lined up like this? When we have earthquakes like this, we typically see domes. We typically are seeing domes destroyed. This earthquake is 6.5 kilometers deep. This earthquake is 1 mile and a quarter deep. This earthquake here is 1.5 miles deep. This earthquake here is 1.5 miles deep. This may be domes, underground, deep underground military bases being destroyed. Deep enough under the Salton Sea here. I'm just saying. We've seen this happen before. Usually we've seen it happen closer to the border, though. Usually we see it happen closer to the border. Way down here, this is where the Salton Butte volcano is underwater in the southern side of the Salton Sea. They call this the Sonny Bono Salton Sea National Wildlife Refuge. The Salton Butte volcano is underwater here. The Salton Butte volcano is an active volcano. The Salton Butte volcano is an active volcano, guys. You need to know that. And USGS has even said that it could erupt at a moment's notice. It could erupt at a moment's notice. Renee Steffi is calling for a flash flood warning right now for Little Rock, Arkansas, for Faulkner, Arkansas, Lone Oak, Arkansas, and Pulaski, Arkansas. A flash flood warning. There's heavy rain there. Heavy rain. There has been some storm warnings and also heavy rain warnings in that area. Now flash flood warnings for Arkansas. Now, if you guys don't already know, let's back this map out. Let me show you Arkansas down here. Let me show you Arkansas. Arkansas down here. Louisiana is down below sea level. Some parts here to the coastal areas of the Gulf of America are also below sea level. What happens when we have flash flood warnings? What happens when we have flash flood warnings? It gets to be really bad. It gets to be very, very bad. Guys, when I see flash flood warnings go up, I get kind of worried. Because Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana get hammered. Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana get hammered. Okay? Those areas are getting hammered now, heavy rain. That rain is going to move northeast bound as well. Sometime between now and Friday, we're going to see that weather system hit here on the East Coast. Meantime, it's going to go through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, going up into Tennessee, over in West Virginia, south of North Carolina, and up into Virginia, and points north. That storm is going to move north to the east. Every one of us that lives in this area need to be watchful what's going to happen. Flash flood warnings and storms. Off the coast out here from northeastern Canada. This is a 3.8 small earthquake here. Southeast of Cow Bay, Canada. Southeast of Cow Bay, Canada. 3.8 small earthquake here. There are other tremors here as well. Let's go over to Northern California before we go into the Pacific Northwest. I want to talk about Mount St. Helens tonight. I'm going to talk a lot about Mount St. Helens tonight. Over here near Monterey Bay, California, south of San Francisco Bay. This is a 1.2 tremor here. This is 1.5 miles east-northeast, 3 kilometers east-northeast of Marina, California. 1.2 tremor. Over here, this is the Pinnacles. The Pinnacles is on the San Andreas Fault, but the Pinnacles also have oil and gas producing wells here. Oil gas wells here. What happens when seismic energy finds these drill points? Seismic energy hits it and creates earthquakes. Okay, it's on the San Andreas Fault, one of the most devilish faults in the world. 2.2 earthquake here. 2.2 earthquake. Southeast of the San Andreas here. Kettleman, California. 2.0 earthquake. Let's go up northeast of Monterey Bay. San Martin, California, 1.1 tremor. That is on the Hayward Fault. This is 1.5 Morgan Hill, California. 1.5 tremor here, Morgan Hill. Going further north here on the Calaveras. This is a 1.2 tremor. 1.2 tremor. I'm going north here on the Calaveras because I want you to see this. This is a 2.2 earthquake, Walnut Creek, California. 2.2 earthquake. USGS right now is saying it's a 1.9 tremor. It's not. It's a 2.2 minor earthquake. Just north of Walnut Creek in Concord, California. This is a 1.0 tremor. Folks, here we have the Calaveras Fault. To the west, we have the Hayward Fault. When we go south, we see the Hayward and the Calaveras, and also down here just south of Monterey Bay, they come all together. All three faults come together here. Right here around Monterey Bay and south of Monterey Bay is one of the most deadly areas of the U.S., where three major faults come here and come together. Any one fault could cast a very bad catastrophe on this area. One fault. And the earthquake could spread to either fault, further endangering the populations here. It can happen. It can happen. I want to give you the heads up about what's going on. Okay? Right up here. Just south of San Francisco Bay. This is the 1.5 tremor. 1.5 tremor here near Rollingwood, California. Rollingwood, California here. We go north. Look at all these earthquakes here. To the south of there is Healdsburg, California. This is 1.6 tremor. Let's go over here to the huge swarm of earthquakes here. The swarm of earthquakes here is normal. This is the geysers facility in Sonoma County, California. The geysers. The geysers facility is a geothermal area where man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of a volcano. This lake here is Clear Lake, the Clear Lake volcano. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam from the volcano to power turbines in this area. They capture steam from the volcano to power turbines here to generate electricity for Pacific Gas and Electric, three other energy conglomerates, including Rocky Mountain Power of Utah. Rocky Mountain Power of Utah. There are a total of 81 pumps or 81 turbines in this facility. 81 turbines in this facility. Let's go over to the majority of earthquakes right here. Let's take a look at it real quick. This is the 1.1 tremor, just north of it, 1.6. This is 1.8. This is 0.8 microquake. This is 1.0 tremor. South here is 1.1. Earthquakes hit here as they come out of the Pacific Ocean. They hit the drill points where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of that volcano. They hit the drill points, which become a man-made earthquake fault. A man-made earthquake fault causing the earth to move, thus causing an earthquake. Right here. See this building right here, just south of there? This is just one of 81 not turbine facilities, but turbines here. There are 10 turbines in this array right here. 10 turbines. Again, there's a total of 81 turbines in this area. 81 turbines in this area. Every day we have earthquakes. Every day without fail we have earthquakes here. I want to make sure everybody realizes what's going on. Yes, we've had more than tremors here. We've had full-blown 2.0 to 4.5 earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.9, minor earthquakes. 3.0, 3.9, small earthquakes. 4.0, 4.9, moderate earthquakes here. In the 6 years that I've been on the air here, I've never seen a large 5.0 earthquake here in the geysers facility. The largest I've ever seen is 4.5 earthquakes. Largest I've ever seen is 4.5 earthquakes. And yes, they have earthquakes here every day. Every day without fail. Without fail. Even up here. Right here is another turbine facility here. They're literally everywhere. They're everywhere, guys. Here's another turbine facility right there. They're everywhere. Aubrey's here. Aubrey's here. Jerry Hayes says the Arkansas River is 8 miles from her place. All I can say is, wow. I've been at the Arkansas River. It's a cool place. Again, this is the Clear Lake volcano. I've also seen earthquakes here. Earthquakes here are the direct responsibility of magma beneath the surface. We have had earthquakes here ranging in size from minor tremors all the way up to 4.0 earthquakes here at Clear Lake volcano. Clear Lake volcano. Okay, north of there. This is Redwood Valley, California, 1.4 tremor. Let's go north here. Typically, we see earthquakes here off the coast of California. This here is the region of the Cascadia subduction area, the southern region of the Cascadia subduction area. The earthquake fault that you see going north is the Cascadia subduction zone. It runs from here all the way north to Haida Gwaii or Queen Charlotte Island, British Columbia, right there. Okay, the Cascadia subduction zone. The subduction, actually not subduction, the earthquake fault to the east or to the west here is the Juan de Fuca fault. Juandejuan, Juan de Fuca fault. It's a zigzag fault line running north and south just east of the San Andreas fault. Not San Andreas, I'm sorry, the Cascadia subduction zone. The San Andreas fault comes off the Cascadia subduction zone and the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment is a fault that runs east and west here, away from the California coast. The San Andreas fault picks up here at what they call the Triple Junction. We don't see any earthquakes here, not because they're not here, they are. USGS is not showing them. That's typical. But the San Andreas fault runs from here all the way down into Mexico, all the way down through Mexico. Okay? When the Cascadia megathrust earthquake hits, according to one of the scientists at Oregon State University, Chris Goldfinger, in Christmas 2019. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Christmas, December 23rd, 2019. Chris Goldfinger told a gathering of scientists and geologists here in San Francisco that the Cascadia earthquake could trigger the San Andreas fault. And the corresponding shock waves would go all the way down the San Andreas into northern Mexico, meaning that all the communities along the San Andreas Fault, including San Francisco Bay, as a San Andreas Fault just goes to the west of San Francisco Bay, San Francisco, Monterey, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, and San Diego, including the Imperial Valley, because that's where the San Andreas Fault is, all the way down into northern Mexico would feel the remnants of the 10.0 earthquake here. By the time the energy got down here, it'd probably be no more than a 6.0, 6.2 earthquake. But on the same token, don't get me wrong, the Cascadia earthquake is going to be felt across both of these countries here, Canada and the United States, all the way across to the East Coast. By the time the shock waves hit the East Coast, we're only going to probably feel a 5.0 to 5.5 earthquake. But still, it's going to be a devastating 5.0, 5.5. The entire East Coast will be affected. including Canada. Including Canada. I'm just telling you. The seismic energy is going to go up here through the Cascadia subduction zone and follow the fault all the way here into Alaska. So Alaska could also see the remnants of the Cascadia earthquake. They could. 6.0, 6.5 shaking here. 6.0, 6.5 shaking here in Alaska. It could happen. It could happen. I want to go over to the Pacific Northwest. I want to talk about this earthquake first to the north. Glacier Peak, Washington. Glacier Peak, Washington. This is a 1.3 tremor. Rockport, Washington. This is a 0.5. Now, folks, they're only showing tremors and microquakes here. I want to tell you this. There are 24 microquakes and tremors hitting this area around Glacier Peak and Rockport, Washington. Guaranteed. We've also seen 3.0 earthquakes hitting Glacier Peak. But again, USGS will never tell you that. They will never tell you that. Let's go down here to the southern side of the Puget Sound. This is the 1.0 tremor here near Lakeland, South Washington. 1.0 tremor here. Notice this. They're not showing any earthquakes at all here at Mount Rainier. Why not? There are all kinds of microquakes, all kinds of tremors, and there are 2 to 3 3.0 plus earthquakes here at Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is going to erupt. We just don't know when. USGS can say all the time there's nothing happening here, but there is. Promise. I could show you seismogram upon seismogram here at Mount Rainier. USGS could just continue to deny it. Because when Mount Rainier erupts, it will erupt with such fury that it'll make the heads of USGS go round and round in a basket. Okay? What about Mount St. Helens? Mount St. Helens. Look what USGS is showing here. A swarm of earthquakes. They don't show swarms of earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens very often. This is a 0.1 microquake. This is, they say, is a minus 0.1. Supposedly 1.3 kilometers deep. This is just barely below the summit of the volcano. Just barely below the summit of the volcano. This is a minus 0.1, supposedly above sea level, but guess what? It's not. This earthquake is 2 miles deep. 2 miles deep. It's not above sea level at all. Minus numbers indicate above sea level, but it's not. USGS can continue to lie all they want. This is a minus 0.1, a kilometer and a third deep, just below the summit. This earthquake right here is a 0.1, a microquake. 3 miles deep. This is a this is a 0.1. Microquake. Again, this is a mile and a half deep. Mile and a half deep. This earthquake is a 0.3 microquake. 3 miles deep. This is a 0.1 microquake. 3 miles deep, 6 kilometers deep. I can guarantee you there are dozens of microquakes hitting Mount St. Helens today. Dozens of them. There are 2 or 3 dozen minor earthquakes as well. 2.0, 2.9. 2, maybe even 3 dozen minor earthquakes. There are also 3 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes hitting Mount St. Helens today. Promise you that. They can show a whole bunch of swarms of earthquakes here, but they're not even touching on what is actually happening here at Mount St. Helens. Let me show you something. Let me show you something that's very troubling, or talk to you about something that's very troubling in Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens volcano is exhibiting signs of elevated unrest above known background levels, even from a change of higher level volcanic activity. They even showed a higher background level of activity. Why then is USGS only showing microquakes and 1 tremor? Volcanic activity supposedly has decreased significantly, but continues to be closely monitored for possible renewed increase. In March 1980, the newspapers in the area were reporting an eruption of the volcano was imminent. March 1980, they were reporting that Mount St. Helens was going to erupt imminently, warning people living in the area to prepare for an evacuation. Mount St. Helens trembled for weeks, causing mostly non-stop earthquakes. So USGS decided to allow people back in to the area. Yes, people lived on Mount St. Helens. People lived near Mount St. Helens. USGS saw these earthquakes happening. Even though some of them decreased, they still allowed the citizenship back into Mount St. Helens. Guess what happened? Mount St. Helens erupted, and erupted violently, killing 53 people, including the USGS scientists. Scientists now anticipate future eruptions with similar types and frequencies and magnitudes as its past history has shown. Mount St. Helens is rebuilding itself, both geologically and ecologically. The volcano is actively growing a new lava dome in its crater. Let me show you a picture of that lava dome. I have a picture of that lava dome here. Mount St. Helens is steaming, guys. Mount St. Helens is steaming. There's a reason. Because Mount St. Helens is rebuilding itself inside out. When you see steam, when you see smoke coming from Mount St. Helens, you know that something's going on. USGS can lie to us. They can tell us that nothing's going on. When you see steam and even ash-filled clouds, there's something else going on. Okay? Mount St. Helens is growing its lava dome, meaning magma from down deep inside the volcano is pushing the big, huge lava rock plug of the volcano up. The plug of the volcano is reaching upwards. The surrounding landscape is still experiencing a resurgence of plant and animal life. After the volcano first erupted, it destroyed all planet life within about 13 miles. Huge lava flow, huge lahars going down the rivers and streams around Mount St. Helens. Baby rabbits, deer, marmot, and other wildlife were killed. Now the resurgence of life is reappearing at Mount St. Helens. Scientists believe that the volcano is still active and it will erupt again. Right now, they say there's no indication of an imminent eruption. I'm going to say, look out, guys. When USGS says there's no indication, beware. Beware of what they're saying. We've already told you that there's a recent seismic activity, including an uptick in earthquakes, suggesting that the volcano is recharging. Every volcano around the world is recharging. Every volcano around the world is recharging. Magma is rising beneath the surface of that summit. Is Mount St. Helens going to erupt soon? That's not completely known at this time when it's going to erupt. It's not if, it's when. It's when. The exact timing cannot be predicted or forecasted when this volcano is going to erupt, but it is going to erupt. Mount St. Helens still produces smoke and steam, indicating its ongoing eruptive status. While it hasn't had a major eruption since 2008, it remains active and releases steam and gases from its crater on a daily basis. The activity is a reminder that the volcano is not dormant and could erupt again in the very near future. The furthest known victim from Mount St. Helens was found approximately 13 miles away from the volcano. On March 18, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted. A lateral blast from the volcano, meaning the side of the mountain went out away from the mountain. The magma inside the volcano moved to the side. An eruptive lateral blast. That lateral blast devastated an area up to 19 miles, 31 kilometers away from the mountain. Ash fallout was heavy. It crippled cities. Yakima, Washington, 85 miles away, received 5/8 of an inch of ash. Spokane, Washington, 255 miles away, received 1/8 of an inch of ash. Pullman, Washington, Moscow, Idaho, 260 miles away, got 1/5 of an inch of ash. Ritzville, Washington, 195 miles away, received 2 inches of ash. 195 miles away, received 2 inches of ash. So it doesn't matter how far you are away, you're going to see ash. Moscow, Idaho, Pullman, Washington, 260 miles away, 1/5 of an inch. Ritzville, Washington, 195 miles away, 2 inches of ash. That's just from Mount St. Helens. That is just from Mount St. Helens. It's moving. It's moving on a daily basis. I want to make you known what's going on. I've been honest with everybody about what's going on. Mount St. Helens is going to erupt again. It's going to erupt very soon. I don't want anyone to be surprised. We are monitoring the Cascade Mountain volcanoes from just on the north side of Washington State, all the way down to Northern California, Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen south of there. We're monitoring them on a daily basis. Right now, it looks like Mount Lassen may be the next to erupt down the south. But definitely Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are looking like they're going to erupt. I'm giving you the information, guys. I'm giving you the information. Wendy B. from England, welcome here. We appreciate you being here. Demon Catman from the east of England is here, one of our mods. We love you guys. We love you guys a lot. Vagabond's here from Ireland. Love it. Love it. Eva Marie Griffin's here. Thank you, Eva Marie. She's Nurse Ava. I know her as Nurse Ava. She's a good friend of ours. Thank you for being here. Ava Marie says she just sent me a photo. Let me go look at it. Let me go look at it. Ava Marie, did you send it to our messenger or did you send it to our email? Renee Sevi says it's looking like Iceland volcano is erupting now. It could be. Very well could be. Let me quickly go look at that. I don't see that. Just a second here. Ava Marie said she sent me a picture here of Laramie Peak, possibly eruption. I don't think it's true though. I don't think it's true. They say it's through Casper Planet, which I've never heard of before. I don't know if it's real or not. Just a second. Let me see if I get a screenshot of this. Let me get a screenshot of this. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take this picture of Mount St. Helens down, and I'm gonna put Laramie Peak up. It's about 95 degrees out here, guys, and I'm sweating up the yin yang here. This is supposedly the Laramie Peak eruption here. Like I said, I don't have any confirmation of this except this article here on Facebook. Someone says that Mount Laramie has a former name of Tahoko Chariot, Tahkoh SAHAHRT. Mount Tacoho, Mount Tacoho, Mount Tacoho shared. Okay? I do not have any confirmation that this actually happened. We don't know. It actually looks like an AI photo. Looks like an AI photo to me. I'll do some research, Ava Marie and everybody, and I'll get back with you about that. Ava Marie, thank you for that. Ava Marie says you never know when fake news. I agree. I totally agree. But at least we looked here. Yes, it looks like it's fake, but don't know. I'll do some more research. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about tonight? I want to make sure we give you all the information that you need and answer any of your questions. Renee Steffi's also saying a flash flood warning has been issued over out of Topeka, Kansas for Gary, Geary, Kansas, and Riley, Kansas. A flash flood warning for Geary, Kansas, and Riley, Kansas right now. You guys need to head to higher ground immediately. Please head for higher ground immediately. Okay? George R. just posted a chat here. We taken it, one of our mods took it down. It says Trump has announced peace in the Middle East. I don't have any confirmation of that. We don't have any confirmation of that, George. I'm sorry. Let me just quickly check something here. Trump pledged peace to be a peacemaker in the Middle East. According to CNBC, now the United States is entering a new war. That's what CNBC said. Okay. And CNBC is also what shall I say, a fake news. Fake news. Time magazine here says if the Middle East is unstable, world will not be at peace. How China views the Israeli-Iran war. China doesn't like it. China doesn't like it. Tehran friends don't like the war disseminated from Iran, but they're not ready to join the fight against Israel. Now the United States, after President Donald Trump bombed the Iranian nuclear facilities. Russia and China have urged de-escalation, emphasizing the dangerous consequences this de-escalating conflict can have on the world. I agree with that. But right now, the world is not at peace. That is from Chinese President Xi Jinping just the other day. I don't see anything saying that Trump said there's peace. I would love it if the president came out and said that. 4 days ago, when the United Nations Security Council met with Iran, yelling and screaming about Israel attacking them, the UN chief told, give peace a chance. And what happened then? Iran went in to attack Israel again, this time at a hospital a civilian hospital with kids in it, killed several people. I think 14 people were killed by that Iranian missile attack. And yet Iran wants peace. No, they don't. They walked away from the negotiation table on Friday. I don't think Iran wants peace at all. And they went and attacked Qatar today. They went and attacked Qatar today. That is not evidence to me that Iran wants peace. They only want it if they can do whatever they want. They want to do whatever they want. That's not peace. That is not peace at all. By the way, George, you had your text taken down because of all the exclamation emojis. We only allow up to 3 emojis here on the chat. Thank you for that. Hurricane Heather says she just saw something about it on X, but she doesn't trust the source. Let me look quickly at X as well. I don't like leaving things up in the middle of nowhere. Oh yeah, I see that too. I don't trust the source either. I don't trust the source any more than I can throw them. Also, if you guys hear of any of the Democrats saying that Trump did not tell them about the pending attack on Iran, he did. Trump notified all the GOP leaders and all of the Democrat leaders that were available. However, Hakeem Jeffries, who is the Assistant Speaker of the House, actually, he's not the Assistant Speaker, he is the, what is it called, the party that's not in power. He's a Democrat leader, Assistant Leader of the House. Hakeem Jeffries was not notified because he was not in the loop. He was nowhere to be found. But President Trump did notify the Democrats and the Republicans leadership on Saturday before he attacked. Now, AOC, good old AOC, what did she say? Immediately upon hearing that President Trump attacked Iran, she wanted him ousted. She wanted his head on a platter. She called for his impeachment. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana has said that he believes that AOC is now the head of the Democratic Party. AOC, the junior senator from New York. The junior senator who was a bartender before she became a senator, a congresswoman. Before she became a congresswoman, she was a bartender. The way she talks in the House, the way she talks out in public, I'd swear she was still bartending. Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and there's one other traitor to our country and standing what they call the squad. And I could actually add 2 or 3, maybe 4 others, including Pocahontas, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters. Every one of those women are, and even the senator from Vermont, every one of them are traitors to our country. They should be arrested. They should be arrested. Heather says, imagine AOC as head of the Democrat Party. Yeah, she's an avowed communist. AOC is an avowed communist. Yes, it's no small wonder that she and her squad would want President Trump's head on a platter and charge him with treason and take him out of the presidency. That's exactly what the Democrats want. Unreal. Unreal. But that's what they want, guys. That's what they want. Heather says she's laughing too hard to even comment now. Yeah. Brother Don Patoga's here. He's saying your questions are important. Yes, they are. Does anybody have any questions before we vacate this program tonight? We've been on the air a lot longer than I wanted to, nearly 3 hours. That's insane. But I wanted to make sure we talked about earthquakes, we talked about Mount St. Helens, and how I fear that it's getting to the point where it's going to erupt. And everybody in that area need to be aware of it. Need to be aware of it. We talked about Mount St. Helens a long time now. I've given you my impression. I've given you the ins and outs of it. I told you exactly what's going on. If you guys live in the area or you're going to this area, be very wary of it. And Mount Rainier as well. Please, guys, again, you see our PayPal scrolling across the bottom of the screen as well as our Venmo location. Also, our address here. If you'd like to send us a card and letter, Carol and I would love to see it. You can, in the card or letter, you can even slip a donation inside that. People do. People do that. Just like the Ortegas did on Saturday when we got the mail on Saturday. They slipped a donation inside the card or the letter. God bless you all. I love and appreciate each and every one of you here. If you have any questions, send them over to our email. I'll be sure to get to it tonight or first thing in the morning. And when we come on the air tomorrow afternoon, sometime just after 4 p.m. Eastern time, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all you do. Our email is scrolling across here, rltnspdema@gmail.com. Our address is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. Thank you, guys. Please stay hydrated. It's hotter than blazes out here. I'm sweating up the yin-yang myself. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.